guys, so a couple of months ago I did a video talking about ARK Invest and how some of their funds had given a crazy returns in excess of 180% in 1 year alone. So actually I had done a video last week and one of my subscribers, SlowCal4, he had actually mentioned the fact that this was now available on the platform Etoro. One of the things that was obvious back then when I did the video that it was really hard to gain access to ARK ETF due to a few different regulations and things behind the scenes about US ETFs being available in the UK. And all of a sudden I was notified that this ETF is available in the UK. So with such high returns on the table that we've seen in the past, is it something now that we should be excited to invest in? In this video I'm going to be exploring exactly what this ARK ETF is on the Etoro platform, and is it something that I personally will be investing in with this newfound knowledge. So if you are new to the channel, just want to say hello here. My name is Jay Campbell. Welcome to Maximise Your Money. In this channel, we talk about how to make, manage and multiply your money from a UK perspective. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead, hit the subscribe button for more content like this, and let's get straight into it. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything in this video is purely for entertainment and educational purposes only. Okay, so here we're looking at ARKW. Essentially, ARKW is exposure to the next generation internet, including artificial intelligence, big data, cloud computing, cybersecurity and blockchain technology. So as you guys will very much be aware, these are game-changing technologies, completely changing the way that we do everything from the way that we actually do business, the way that we interact online. Major companies like Amazon, Facebook, the top companies out there today are all using a variety of these things. Even cryptocurrencies itself was based on the blockchain technology. So all of these things are very much in future demand. These are things that we're going to rely on moving ahead. And this is why the first point that I just want to share about a positive about ARK ETF is that they are based on a great investment thesis. So not only have we seen that over the space of a year, this fund here has given over 182%, which is insane. But actually, it's done really well because since the time it was actually incepted, that sounds funny, incepted, since 2014, which is about 7 years ago, it's given a return of 39.77% a year, which is phenomenal. Given that a standard index like the S&P 500, for example, may give on average anywhere between 8 to 13% or 14% a year, these returns are absolutely phenomenal. Now, on the other side to that as well, not only do we see great returns historically, I just want to kind of point out as well that actually what ARK Invest base their investments on is all about things that are for the future. If you wanted to learn a little bit more about what ARK ETF actually invest in and why that's the case, then they provide some really good information on their investment case on their website. As you can see here, they will go into a deep analysis. Now, looking at the Etoro platform, one thing that becomes very apparent when I've actually looked at the ARK ETF is that when you are investing in an ARK fund, so we've got ARKG here, actually you will see this little disclaimer here. So it says CFD trade. And CFD essentially means contract for difference. So if I was to go ahead and invest or trade a CFD at this point, I'm not actually buying the underlying asset by going through a CFD. So when you have a CFD, you're essentially trading or buying on the price and not actually the asset of the stocks in the fund itself or the ETF. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Also, looking at this website here, it's called ifa.com. And I first learned about this concept when I first read a book called Common Sense Investing by Vanguard founder Jack Bogle. We have actually had data to show that active investing, which is where you've got the fund manager, so Kathy Woods for ARK ETF, is actively picking the stocks and actually saying, yep, based on all the research that our analytics team are doing, then we believe that these funds are going to do best over the long term, and they're basically doing the work for you. Based on that kind of model called active fund investing, and I've got a video that talks more about this in must-knows really when you're investing into stock funds. we have seen from past data, and especially this is a really good graphical representation of it, that active funds over the long term do not outperform a passive index. So that basically means if you were just to have a passive index fund like the S&P 500 and hold that over the long term, say 20 years for example, that would outperform the vast majority of active fund managers. So just because, as we said before, ARK is doing great today does not guarantee that it will continue to do so in the future. And here we've just got a pie chart. It shows data from the past 20 years of active funds versus their benchmark, so that's essentially just a passive index. We can see for every different type of fund, whether it's a real estate fund, large cap fund, which are just big companies, small cap funds, which are smaller companies. This red here shows the percentage of funds that have underperformed the index funds or the passive funds. So in virtually every instance, for you to have picked a winning active fund, the chances of that are very slim based on the data. And I don't know about you guys, but personally, I'd rather have the odds in my favor of just holding the entire stock market with a passive fund and beating the vast majority of active funds out there with a lot less headache. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's very hard to actually predict the future, to say, you know, we think that this is going to do better than, you know, the rest of the world stock market. But of course, some companies can do it, and ARK is doing a great job at the moment, not to say that at all. And if you have the skill for that, then you can go ahead and make so much more money than just investing into an index fund like what we've seen so far with ARK. But it does not mean that this will continue, and that's a very, very big point. The book Common Sense Investing talks all about this, that funds that can do well for like 5 or 10 years will often drop off and then have a period of reverse performance as well. So it's just one thing extra to bear in mind. And the final thing is that actually when you do invest via the Etoro platform into this ARK CFD, it's actually not available via a UK stocks and shares ISA. And that is unfortunately a massive loss, because, you know, there are no actual tax benefits to actually going through the Etoro platform to go and get the ARK ETF. You know, if you have the opportunity, or if I have the opportunity, you know, all of us do in the UK here, to go through a stocks and shares ISA, I personally would take that every day of the week, because it just means that all our capital gains are not being taxed, where the same cannot be said through the ARK ETF that you have on Etoro. So my overall take on this, you know, I have so many good things to say about ARK ETF. In this instance, with the Etoro platform, the way that they set it up, I personally am not going to be going through their CFD to actually invest into that. However, if ARK ETF was more readily available through like a stocks and share ISA, then I certainly would be quite excited to potentially put up a certain percent of my portfolio towards ARK Invest. I believe what they're investing in and into the future is something that has a lot of sense behind it, and it makes a lot of sense, especially when you read through the investors document and the actual case for why they're investing and the companies they're investing in. These are companies that even when I'm looking at them, I can say that, wow, yeah, I believe these companies will do very well long term based on the value they're providing. So that's my take on it. That is me for the rest of this video, guys. Hope you liked it, hope you enjoyed. Go ahead, subscribe if you loved this video for more content like this, informing you about key insights into the investing world. And I've got 2 videos on the screen here that will go more into stock market and investing. So if you want to stay tuned, then go ahead and check those out. I'll see you guys in the next one, and take care.